Alright, what's going on, guys? I'm wearing these orange glasses because the ring light is so fucking bright that it makes me look like Casper the Ghost, and it's also blinding me by the second. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you 2 sales calls I closed in one day. If you haven't been following me, I'm documenting my entire SMMA, online business, fitness, life journey. I'm going to be showing you all the objections I get and how I'm handling them, what kind of questions I'm asking, what offer I'm running, my presentation. I don't have slides anymore. I do have slides. I occasionally show people like a visual sales presentation, but for these 2 at least, I just come in guns blazing and I just start fucking asking questions. I don't even have a sales script. I just kind of wing it. And somehow it works because my offer is just stupid good. It's just pay commission only. So I take on literally all of the risk. It might be stupid. Some experienced SMMA owner is going to tell me I'm a dumbass, but it's basically helping me sign like 5 clients a week. So yeah, I'm going to be starting ads for 2 people tomorrow. But yeah, without further ado, let me just play the sales calls.
Good. Thanks for being flexible with me. Literally driving home in a snowstorm, or the back end of a snowstorm.
Oh yeah,
So,
where are you at?
my mom just had a second knee replacement in Tennessee, so I just flew out here for a week to help her out, and we got 10 inches of snow yesterday.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
I know all about snow. I'm from Ottawa, so
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey. Okay.
yeah,
I got you.
yeah. What
Canadian,
about?
huh?
So do
So,
you want to tell me a little bit about sort of where you're at and why you
yeah,
hopped on this
sure.
call?
Yeah, so I run a team of about 12 guys right now, 13 guys. We got five closers, 8 setters right now. We did about 40 something installs last quarter. Q4 is typically a big quarter for us because we have a big year-end competition in November where we just go hard for about 3 weeks, and then December we don't totally shut it down, but we don't do a ton of knocking in December. We kind of just do whatever the spillover is from that competition season. So that's roughly where we're at. I've been looking for someone that can do lead gen effectively for a while, not just lead gen, but preferably also appointment setting. And I'm just starting to get more educated about it. I've done a couple deals with Solar Exclusive, which has produced absolutely nothing. So they've now shifted to a guaranteed appointment model where they guarantee X number of appointments for X number of dollars. So we're going to run that and see how that goes. But I've also talked to Prospect Bacon and a couple others. But honestly, the people that are doing lead, basically a guarantee, like now we're starting to see people pop up that are just doing, you don't pay anything basically until you close a deal or you set an appointment. So, which that seems to make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So, so I can throw money into a black hole all day long. I got money to spend or money to invest. I just would like to invest it with something that's going to actually provide an ROI, So, that's basically where we're at.
You're the must be the 4th, 5th person this week that's told me a horror story about Solar Exclusive. What's the story there? I'm curious.
Well, so when they first started, I had never used them before. So my manager that I was working with at the time, he had used them in the past and they were pretty good, but that was a couple of years ago, probably when solar in California was better than it is now. It was just not as worn out as it is now.
Yeah.
It was still newer, a fresher market. And so it was pretty easy. You got leads and you called the leads and they actually booked appointments and it was no big deal. It wasn't complicated,
Yeah.
So that was what we initially started at. And the idea when we first did it honestly, it was probably just a bad idea to do it at the time we did it, because we did it around, are you familiar with solar in California at all?
Yeah, just sort of dipping my toes into the market. You want to educate me a bit?
Yeah, so the net metering law changed in April of last year. The law was passed in December of 22, and then it got implemented in April of 23. So basically, we went from never selling batteries to now having to sell batteries with everything, which is fine. That's not a big deal. We actually I mean, I did 6 more installs than I did last year, and I made double the money, so it didn't really hurt us at all. But
Nice.
around the time, a lot of companies went under as a result of that. A result of that shift. I guess they just weren't able to adapt to the market, or they just kind of threw up their hands and didn't really try to adapt to the change in the market. I don't know. But a lot of companies went under, and so we absorbed a lot of sales teams this year. So that was the big shift. So we initially tried out Solar Exclusive. The first time I tried it was we tried to use it around that time of that shift. To try to kind of buffer our sales in the transition. And they hadn't figured it out. We probably had it more figured out than they did. So that returned absolutely nothing the first pass. And so they hit me up again, 6-8 months later. Oh, we figured out the market now. We got it all working now. And they had we had cut off the service, but it was like a day or two after. They had charged our second and 30-day installment, and I was like, dude, you guys have produced absolutely nothing in 30 days. I'm not going to pay you for another 30 days. And they're like, well, we have a no refund policy, yada yada yada. So I basically had $9,000 in credit with them, and so I was like, all right, well, they're claiming they got the market more figured out now. So I gave it another shot around the time of our competition. I would have done the guaranteed appointment thing that they had shifted to at that point, but it required a minimum of a 60-day commitment. And I'm like, I'm not going to do a 60-day commitment right at the end of the year. So when I'm about to shut it down. So I just said, all right, we'll just reinitiate the old campaign. They're like, if some get booked, then, you'll get appointments, but mostly it's probably just going to be leads. So we got a whole bunch of leads, which were trash. We sat with literally one of them who already had a solar system on the house from Sunrun that wasn't working, and then they couldn't pass credit to get a new system put on. So that was the one lead that turned into an appointment that turned into nothing. And then we got, at the very end of it, what we had left, they basically just ran out the $9,000 we had left in credit. At the very end, we had 5 appointments come through. 2 of them sat. One was a new homeowner that needed a roof done before they would sign, and the other was a lady that failed credit. So now 20 grand in with Solar Exclusive with zero ROI. So I'm talking to Prospect Bacon. There's a guy in our company that's been working with Prospect Bacon for a few years now, and he crushes it. He did about 1.4 million this year. 500K of that was cost. So I'm like, dang, man. So you're telling me you're spending, for every $3 you're making, you're basically getting a 3-to-1 ROI.
Yeah.
I'm like, that just seems too steep, way too steep to me, Yeah. So that's basically, where we're at. So I partnered with another company now also. Are you familiar with Zane Jane's organization?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So Zane Jane is a pretty well-known entrepreneur. He started Better Earth Solar, and then he's also now has basically a solar consulting company that helps people scale their solar business. So we've partnered with them, and they have the whole package. They've got the recruiting, the training, the lead gen, and the SOPs, right? Standard operating procedures. To scale a company, and they've done it with multiple companies, and they're working with another group that's within our company, which is Legacy Power. So we're going to be doing ad spend with them already. So they already have ads and landing pages that have been tested and work in California and are already built out. So, I'm going to start doing that with them in the next week or two. But so that was why the ad spend thing with you didn't really scare me away, but I was just interested to hear, okay, what are you doing different that no one else is doing?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, like you said, I've just, I've hopped on maybe 20 calls in the past week with guys just like you who have been burned by Solar Exclusive, all these lead gen companies. So I thought I would sort of differentiate myself and align my incentives with yours. So I'm only taking a small commission of whatever you're closing.
Sure.
So essentially the setup is that you would just spend a daily budget you're comfortable with. I'm recommending $50 to $100 a day to see anything, substantial.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I'll also set your appointments for you, qualified on what you need, credit, electric bill, shading of the roof, whatever.
Okay. So have you worked in solar before, or what's your background?
Yeah. So I've only done lead gen for solar about 3 years now. Um,
Okay.
Spent near enough $1 million on solar ads collectively. Um, Most of that was in the Canadian market. Now just kind of working my way down to the US.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that's my background. A lot of Canadian
Okay.
companies under my belt and a few remote closers in Chicago and a couple states.
Okay. So as far as the U.S. goes, you've only worked in Chicago, and what other markets in the U.S.? Is that it?
Chicago, bit of Texas, and
Okay.
starting in Maryland, Florida this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, Florida might be a market that we want to explore eventually as well. More than likely, I'll probably we're 100% door to door right now, but more than likely, I'm probably going to be looking in the direction of going, um, going virtual by the end of the year. Just because that's, if you want to scale and really grow nonstop and not be limited, that seems to be the route to go. Um, and it also seems like Florida and Texas are kind of the emerging PPA markets.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard Chicago is as well with their insane tax credits,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so. Um, okay. So yeah, I mean, $50 to $100 sounds in line with what this other company that we're partnering with is advising anyway. They start us at 1,500 because Facebook requires they limit you to 1,500 to start anyway. So that would basically put us at $50 a day, unless you have some workaround for that, to start, and then we would move to doing more as we go along. So it doesn't sound like you really have any gauge as to like what would be effective in the California market, because the thing with a lot of the people that we talk to, right, they work in a lot of these other states where solar is a newer thing, right? Florida's, it's still fresh in Florida. It's not worn out, kind of like it's been in California already. Same thing with Texas, same thing with Chicago. So, a lot of people come in and make all these promises and guarantees with the market in California, and basically I'll just tell you, seen and heard a lot of it, and so I'm like, okay, like it sounds good,
Yeah.
let's just see what we can accomplish. So, but it sounds like you're polished, like how to book appointments, obviously get bills, that you do that for all your current appointment setting that you do.
Exactly. Yeah. Electric bill,
Okay.
credit, average utility bill, shading, anything you need, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, shading isn't as big a deal here in California, depending on what part of the state you're talking about. But as you get into like the Central Valley and further north, it's probably more of a concern.
Right.
Okay. So what does your process look like in terms of like how long am I going to have to wait, do you think, in order to see a return? Like, do you already have some ads built out that you think will run and be effective, or how long does it take you to tweak ads with feedback and things like what's the timeline, do you think, to actually have appointments on the calendar?
Yeah. So with all of my campaigns, I get leads the same day or next day that we launch. Um,
Okay.
and then, like you said, obviously, I'm not trying to overpromise you. I don't want to be one of those guys. California could be different from Texas, Chicago, like we've tried, but usually
Sure.
appointments appear in the first week. And obviously, it gets better over time. Of course, it does. We always iterate day over day, but
Sure.
there's no reason you can't get appointments first few days, first week of launch.
Okay. Okay. That's good news. So we're actually starting a 3 week blitz yesterday. If you think you're able to get leads that quickly, then I'd love to probably run like a 30-day trial run and see where we land at the end of that 30 days. How do you do things with your customers? Is there a commitment from a time period, or how do things look from a commitment standpoint?
Yeah. So, because I'm just working my way into all the different states, I'm not gonna
Hmm.
make you commit to anything. If you wanna,
Okay.
30 days is advisable, so
Hmm.
that we can really see what works. But
Sure.
I won't put you in a position you're uncomfortable with. But 30 days is a good idea to start with, so we can see what works.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and I have no problem throwing $100 ad spend, at a campaign for 30 days, 3 grand. That's a pretty, you know, a very doable investment for what we're talking about. And you said 2.5% is the commission that you're charging.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Of
that
the
shouldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah, of the total system value, just to be clear.
Okay. So in California, right, we're doing a lot of PPAs. So typically,
Yeah.
well, okay, so 2.5% of the system value. So, um, okay, so how do you gauge? So you gauge that as though you purchase the system, or would you just do like a flat, just to make it simpler?
Yeah.
Would you probably in California, it would be easier to do like 5% of the total commission or something like that.
Yeah.
2.5% of that, because the system value might be like 80 grand or 90 grand, but our commission might be like 20K or 30K, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So the arrangements I did basically with the other guys is just to make it simple. I just said $500 an install, just flat.
okay. Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah.
That works for us. So yeah, we do. Just so you know, I know industry average is pretty low. Our closers, right? If things go well, right? I've got a team of 5 closers now, right now, myself and 4 other guys.
Yeah.
So obviously, if things go well, we're going to want to scale and do a lot more. So so we did, like I said, 40 something installs last quarter. We're trying to do between 50 and 75 this quarter. So right, obviously you can do the math on that. So that's where we're headed, and then our goal is to be doing 250 plus by the end of the year, a quarter. So um,
Yeah. One of
so
my guys
yeah.
in obviously different market, but in Canada is
Mhm.
just to give you an idea of numbers. He's doing an install per day, and he's spending between 6 and 8 thousand a month on ads. So just kind
Okay.
of the direction eventually you want to get to when you see it works. Reinvest
Hmm.
more um, when you get
I'm sorry.
comfortable.
I heard 6 to 8 thousand a month on ads. How much volume is he doing?
He's doing at least an install per day.
An install per day, so 30 a quarter or 30 a month, so 90 a quarter. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Yeah, that's easy. So let's see. How do we set up and manage the ad spend account? Because that's obviously my only other concern is I've handed 3 grand to another guy already this year who claims, oh, I'm AI lead gen and I'm going to do all these. He had a guarantee 90 sits or whatever in 30 days. And then he just disappeared and fell off the face of the planet.
Really?
So, yeah, so that was awesome. Guy named Jordan Lally. I don't know if you've ever seen him. His ads are still popping up on Facebook. I actually just saw another ad by him the other day, and I was like, yeah, flag this thing and take it down because this guy's a total scam artist.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
so
Did you if you don't mind me asking, did you pay him the 3 grand like to his pocket, or did he have you connect to Facebook?
so that was his setup fee. So basically, he basically was charging a flat fee for each tier of his program, right? So there's like a 30, 60, and 90-day lead guarantee.
Yeah.
And I basically negotiated him and said, look, we're not going to do like we're looking for someone to partner with long term that as we grow, you're going to grow, right? That's any good business relationship. That's how it should work, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I basically said to him, I'm like, look, we'll do a certain percentage commission per sale. And if we, hit higher numbers, we'll look at adjusting, we'll do a sliding scale or something like that. Instead of paying you a flat fee for X number of leads. And he said, yeah, that sounds fine. I would just need the setup costs, to whatever, get my call center set up, do all my infrastructure, all that, and so that was basically $3,000 is the number that we came to. So we charged that directly to a card through a pay portal, after we signed agreements, and that was it. So that's how we did that. But based on what you're doing, I like that idea a lot more of I'm putting into an ad spend account that I own and control, and and I see where the money's going, rather than just, hey, here's a check for $3,000, see you later.
Yeah. So I won't actually be able to touch that money. It'll just be right on Facebook, and
sure,
literally, if you wanted to, you could click the button to turn it off if you don't like what you're seeing.
Okay. And then how do we arrange payment with you, right? Because we're getting paid. Typically, we're getting paid. Right, we're seeing installs hit. Some literally we were having hit as fast as 2 to 3 weeks or less. But a typical timeline is usually about 4 to 6 weeks. And then we get paid 2 weeks after an install. So how are we doing payment with you?
Yeah. So that was something I was talking to a couple guys about. I think it's reasonable to say after close, within 30 to 45 days. Is that enough time for you?
Yeah, that's completely reasonable for sure. Yeah, that gives us more than enough time to see if the account's going to go in. I mean, like I said, my conversion from sign to install is usually about 80 to 90%. A lot of my guys are 60 to 80% conversion from sign to install. So that's we're going to know if the account's going somewhere for sure. So just to be clear, are we paying you per install or are we paying you per appointment?
Per install. Yeah.
Per install. Okay. So if it doesn't get installed, we're not paying anything. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Completely agree with that. That's totally, so far we're looking good.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm just I'm launching a few campaigns this week for a couple guys.
Okay.
When would you want to start?
If we could have appointments on the calendar by the end of the week, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah. I'm just going to, so that's why I brought it up. I'm just going to sort out a few campaigns initially here.
Sure.
And you'd be looking at probably an early next week start, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
How's it going today?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. You're up in New York, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, we got a snowstorm going on here, so.
Is that right?
Oh yeah.
I'm in Ottawa actually, so I think I know more about snow than you.
Yeah, I think you guys had it hard the other day, huh?
Yeah. Well, all the time actually. Yeah. But okay, you're in New York. So sort of unpack why you're on the call today in terms of you're needing more appointments, what states you operate out of, and sort of go from there.
So right now we're simply in New York. That's where I need the most appointments right now. I'm also in New Jersey, Connecticut, and Florida. But I'm really testing out services like yours to provide me the appointments I need. Being in New York, where I'm actually located, it's a little more easier to test out these services. I've been doing this for quite some time, and I've worked with multiple companies, and they all talk the talk, and when it comes down to it, it's just a waste of money.
Right.
So I do like some of the things I'm seeing now, where it's like there's no commitment for me, just you guys prove yourself, and let's start a relationship that way, right?
Right. Okay, so in terms of the other sort of companies you've worked with, what was your experience? Was it not enough leads, over-promising?
I would say about 80% of it I've lost money on. I spent thousands of dollars and I didn't get a return on all aspects of my investment. You put $5,000, $10,000 in investment, $15,000, and I didn't get one deal. So with that model, and I see the industry is changing now, I do not want to invest, a tremendous amount of money without seeing some kind of commitment on both sides of the parties, right?
And with those companies, were they working on a commission or charging a flat retainer?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Yeah.
All right, but it's retainer, some commission. Um, but again, I didn't have much success with a lot of these companies.
Right.
I have one or two of them that are still working for me, but they just can't provide the amount of volume that I need.
Okay. And what volume are you looking for?
Well, it all depends what you could provide, right? I could run about, I would say about 60 appointments a week.
Yeah.
Again, I don't have that volume right now, so probably even more starting in February because I have some new guys are coming back from vacation. Most of the time, these guys are taking vacation during Christmas time to the middle of January.
Okay. Okay. So, ideally, you'd like to get to the point where you're getting 60 appointments a week, maybe an install per day if you're not doing that already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of our guys is actually on course to do that right now. He's spending around 6,000 a day. Sorry, 6,000 a month on ads. But he's closing a deal every day, just to sort of give you an idea of what that would look like on your side. But if I could sort of tell you the setup, we only charge a commission on whatever you close. So I honestly don't make a penny if you don't make anything. And I also don't charge a lump sum of ad spend up front either. So the way it works is you would essentially just pay a small fee daily of whatever ad spend you're comfortable with. Let's say $50. $50 a day. You'll start seeing appointments coming in, and you'll know very quickly if it works without sinking, a bunch of money into our company like you have with all these other agencies, and you see it doesn't work after investing 10 grand. You'll know very quickly, and we're completely incentivized to get you as many deals as possible because we only charge commission on the back end. No retainer plus commission, just commission.
Okay. But are you guys just setting up that lead, or are you having someone to confirm these appointments?
Yep.
Because for appointments and not leads.
Yep. We're setting up appointments. So we're qualifying them before we send them to you on electric bill average. A picture of the electric bill, average monthly bill. A couple other things you might need, like shading of the roof, age, whatever you need. And then we schedule a time directly in your calendar. We send them automatic text reminders to hopefully increase the sit rate. And to answer your question, we do appointments and not just not leads.
Mm-hmm. I see. So you don't have a live person literally calling them, confirming it as well, too, right? It's just everything's automated, correct?
You mean calling them, let's say, before the appointment?
Mm-hmm.
No, we just do text reminders.
I see. All right. Tell me a little bit more about the services regarding the cost. Right now, you tell me you have a company with an ad spend of about $5,000-6,000. They're getting how many appointments?
Yeah, so he spends between $6,000 and $8,000 a month. He gets somewhere in the neighborhood of 350 leads a month. From that, he gets maybe 100, 150 appointments with a 50% booking rate, and they're able to close maybe a third of those, 2 to 3 out of 10. So he's doing an install per day, easy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What I'm looking for is more of a call center model where it's a live person literally reaching out to them, confirming these appointments on a timely basis, where it comes a weekly, if it's a week out, if it's most of these appointments that I'm getting, it's within 48 to 72 hours out, right? And then, of course, we're sending out the texts and stuff like that. But I also wanted someone to call and confirm these appointments as well, too. Now, that's something I could do on my end because I do have a call center as well, too, and also external call centers, but I prefer internal call centers. The thing is like, I don't know what makes your company stand out from the other companies, like the Project Bacon or these other companies similar to that.
Yeah, so the Project Bacon and all that. Have you ever worked with them?
Yeah, I've worked with them. I know them guys as well too.
Yeah, and what was their arrangement? Was it commission only?
I was not commission only, and again, the only reason why I didn't pull the trigger and expand on Project Bacon a little more is because when I started with them, it was like middle of November, which is not a good time. I really want to push a lot of business.
For sure. Yeah. So to answer your question, I haven't seen another company, at least, that's willing to take on as much risk as I am. Um, Not only on the commission basis, but just to make you happy for the long term. I'd like this to last longer than a month, of course, so we both, benefit from it for the long term. Um, I haven't seen anyone willing to take as much risk as I have. I've even paid the first few days for some clients to show them it works. So I'm completely dedicated to making you happy and taking on as much risk as I can. Obviously, I can't pay a full month's worth of ad spend for you, but like just paying a few days to show you it works is something I've done before. I haven't seen. Have you seen any other company doing that? I haven't.
Well, again, I've researched a couple other companies, but not for anything. I was like all that gun ho to like start business with a company like that. I wanted to deal with like an actual person. I know your services is all AI or some electronic texting or generating these appointments through whatever marketing. Where do you mark? Facebook? Is it YouTube?
Yeah.
Instagram?
So it's Facebook and Instagram, and it's not all AI. So essentially, we'd get the lead, and then we do have a VA that calls them up, and then once the appointment is set, and after they talk to the VA, then leading up to the appointment, it would be text reminders, text and email. Um, but we do have a human touch point there where the actual appointment setting is always going to be a human.
That's it. Okay. Um, what do you need from me? I don't mind testing it out. So what do you need to start out?
So what I would need is, first of all, you'd need to establish what daily budget you're comfortable with to test out to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just New York you want to work out of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, just New York. Okay.
I don't want to start all big and then like it's a waste of time. I don't mind doing it and let's give it a shot.
Yep, for sure. The next thing would be what sort of CRM do you have? What's your situation there?
Forgot the name of the CRM. Forgot the name of it. I don't know the name. It's one of these generic CRMs I'm using with Solar Savings USA. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Okay. So basically, you would just add me as a user, just so I can see what's happening with the leads on the back
That's
end. So that would be the CRM situation. Do you have a Facebook account for your company, or
yeah.
you do? Okay. I would just have you add me to that,
Okay.
and I would also need access to your calendar just so I can schedule the leads on your calendar.
The CRM has the calendar,
Perfect.
but I wouldn't look at the calendar to like say, hey, I don't have a one-man shop,
Right.
so a particular time is filled up. I have other guys that could run those appointments as well too.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. So just the CRM then.
Yeah, the CRM has a calendar too, so
Yeah, 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 yeah. That would be pretty much it. I don't suppose you have any branded images or pictures of installations from your installer or any of that would be helpful that we can use for marketing, but not entirely necessary.
um, I should have some. Right now, are you familiar with SunPower?
Yeah.
All right. I'll educate you a little bit more about SunPower. SunPower is one of the, I would say, one of the most oldest companies regarding solar in the industry, right? They've been around for about 30 years.
Right.
I mean, if NASA is using SunPower panels in outer space, you gotta assume that they're a fairly legitimate company. NASA, Apple, Walmart, FedEx, all these companies have done their research and decided to use a company called SunPower. So when we're doing that on a residential aspect, is that hey, if all these companies spend a tremendous amount of time and energy and money in researching and they want to do business with us, that's a big difference what we're pushing with with the residential aspect. That and also what we provide for these homeowners, right? Certain warranties no other companies offer. Where it comes to, we're the only company that offers a 25-year warranty that's actually been around for 25 years, right? So you got my competitors are offering 25-year warranties, but they've only been in business for 5 years, right? So who knows if they're going to honor their warranty in 5 years or if they're going to be in business in 5 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So SunPower is a little different than most of these other companies. You know, it's a publicly traded stock. It's a $1 billion organization. Right now, they're having some issues when it comes to their stock prices, but who cares? That doesn't affect the homeowner one way or the other.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
So you could also get some of that information from the SunPower website and portal, and you'll see some of their installs as well too. That's the model that I'm really pushing in New York City area. It's the SunPower because it is a premium product, but with what electric rates are in New York City, it makes sense. Doesn't make much sense in other places like in Florida where they're looking for like the cheapest system possible because electric rates are so low, it has to make sense.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, okay, so use SunPower's images if possible. Okay. The only other question I might ask is, just so we're protected on our end, how quickly are you sort of getting paid after you close a deal? Ideally, we like to, get our cut within 30 days of you closing. That might be a lot of time, might be a little, depending on the company. So, sort of how quickly are you closing, getting paid?
Well, what is the commission for you?
Yeah, so the commission is 5% of the total deal value.
Yeah. See, that's kind of weird number to figure out when it comes to 5%, right? Where is 5% of the sales price? We have multiple products where we're not even charging a fee, right? So how are you going to calculate it?
What do you mean you have multiple?
You familiar with the lease product, the TPO product, third party ownership? Whereas, all right, we don't charge for the equipment material. All we're doing is selling a lease product.
Sure. Okay. What I've done with the other closers in the group is I've just done like a $500 commission on an install if that's easier to figure out for you.
Yeah, that's more simpler
Yeah.
way to do it, right? That's what I'm saying. Like I don't deal with percentage wise because not about to open up my books on all and every deal that I charge, because there's certain deals that I charge a high amount on,
Yeah.
because we have a roofing business as well too, which we include the roof into it as well.
Okay. Sure. Fair enough. So we'll just do a 500.
Um, see something here. One second. So I'll start out with your numbers just to test it out.
Sure.
If I like what I hear, we're going to go back to negotiating table. All right.
Sure.
If you're good and you are what you say you are, great. I want to expand on it. If it's not, we'll just part ways. Is that fair?
Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. And I guess when we do renegotiate, you can tell me how quickly you're sort of closing, because basically, to give you context with the other companies, it sometimes it
Don't worry about the age of my closing. I don't. Once I close the deal, I'll pay you within 30 days. Doesn't really matter if it's installed or not.
Okay.
All right.
Well, it sounds good. I mean, you sound very fair. I'm very excited to work with you. I want to show you that we're not just another one.
Yeah.
People
I
overpromise.
know the job is going to be installed with it. Right now, our installation time frame in New York is a different breed of animal, right? That's why I don't have much competition if you don't understand it, right? So let's say a 30-mile radius, one neighborhood might take 2 months to install, another neighborhood might take 6 months to install, and another neighborhood might take 2 weeks to install. So it's when you're going to ask me for a time frame when it's going to be installed, I don't think it's fair for you if, like, I go into an area and it takes 3 months for you to get paid.
Right.
And I don't like to hold people's money either. I think it's bad business. So keep it to 30 days after the system is signed. That's more than enough time for me to know if that job is an actual sale or if they just wanted some information and, I do a site assessment and you can't hear back from these guys.
Sure. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. That's fine. Cool.
What else do you need from me?
That's about all I need from you to start running the ads. Yeah, when would you be comfortable sort of launching this?
Send me an email with all the information, whatever you need from me, and I'll fill it out, and we could start as early as tomorrow, or depending on my weather here. I'm dealing with a snowstorm, so I'm working from home. Wednesday or Thursday, definitely this week. Okay.
Perfect. Looking forward to it. I'll send you that email with all the information right now.
The only reason why I don't have an exact time frame because I'm going to send it to one of the guys that does all of this for me, and he'll handle it. And he'll be your point of contact if you want any update on any appointments whatsoever.
But yeah, without further ado, leave your feedback and comments in the description. I know I made a lot of mistakes. Obviously, I'm not Jordan Belford yet on the sales, but we're getting there. We're making progress. So yeah, if you haven't been following me, I'm documenting my entire SMMA, online business, fitness, life journey. So if that interests you, you can check out my other videos.